Do you feel like that you've lost yourself in this pursuit of self-improvement? If you were to be rigorously honest with yourself in this moment, do you find that you're consuming so much self-help and personal development content that you feel a bit paralyzed? Have you noticed that this overconsumption of self-help hype and content is leading you to shaming yourself more? Have you found yourself comparing where you're at? Do you even know where you're at in your life as a result of consuming all this self help content? But have you found yourself comparing yourself to where all of these self help gurus seem to be? Are you judging yourself more? Do you feel more depressed as a result of all this consumption? Do you find yourself judging others because you're on this path of self improvement and they're not? Are you reading every single book that's being suggested to you by every single podcaster you listen to and every self help YouTube guru that you watch on YouTube? Do you feel a little bit powerless over every thing that's being marketed to you on Instagram and Facebook saying you need to attend this webinar just in hopes that if you attend this free webinar or paid seminar, that your life is going to be miraculously changed as a result? For nearly a year and a half, this was my story. Now, don't get me wrong. I've had profound changes in my life as a result of personal development and self improvement. And I'm not here to say that self help or self improvement is inherently bad. What I am here to do is to share my experience and shed some awareness and light on the fact that it can actually become an addiction and take us down a dark road if we are not careful. But this requires us to evaluate where we're at. And we can do this simply just by asking ourselves, am I consuming way more than I'm actually taking action in life? Am I consuming more than I create in this world? And that can be a hard thing to want to get honest to yourself about. And it was for me. I didn't know that I was addicted to self help and self improvement and personal development until one day it just hit me and I was like, what have I actually even done? I've consumed thousands of hours of YouTube videos just in hopes that maybe this next video, maybe this next podcast, maybe this next book will be the thing that will get me to where like Alex Hermosi is, or where Gary Vee is, or Jordan Peterson is. But is that who I actually want to become? Is that actually where I want to go in my life? I couldn't answer these questions because I was so stuck. I was being fed all of this information. You should do this. You need to be this type of man. You need to do this thing. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to do this, do this, do that. And I was taking all of this in, and I actually didn't even know if it was what I wanted. But it felt good. I was getting those dopamine hits from all of this content of like new awarenesses were happening all of the time. And that feels really good in the moment. But I wasn't integrating a single thing that I was learning. In fact, I wouldn't even go as far as saying that I learned anything. It was just information coming in, triggering my dopamine, and giving me a small taste of awareness of something. And so I want to ask you, like, let me know in the comments below, can you relate to this? Has this become your life all of a sudden? By me sharing this part of my story, is it allowing you to gain a little awareness to be like, yeah, I am attending every free webinar possible. I am reading every book that's suggested of me, but I'm not actually reading the books. I'm just buying them. Are you taking more action than the information you're receiving? And if not, then you're probably stuck in the self-help trap that a few people are talking about. So let me back up. Self-help became to me much like playing a slot machine, like gambling. It's all of these bright lights and things that are just begging for my attention, and I relinquish my power and say, okay, here, you can have my attention, in hopes that the next thing, the next spin on the slot machine, is going to give me what I truly desire. This time's going to be different. If I just put a little bit more attention into it, if I just find that next slot machine, it's going to pay me dividends. But it's not like that at all. It leads to a place of inaction and procrastination, to the point where we can start judging ourselves so deeply, where the simple act of allowing ourselves to take time for self-care or to rest starts to feel like procrastination, because that's what we're being told. I lost the ability to have discernment. I lost my ability to be self-aware as a result of all of this information I was ingesting. I'm doing cold plunges. I was doing cold showers. I was eating this type of food. I was doing everything that was being fed to me by all of these people, only to realize that I didn't even want to be doing any of it. And the problem I have, that I've become aware of with a lot of what's being promoted in the self-help and self-improvement industry, it's like, here's this 6-step framework to unfuck your life. And so you sign up for the course and you start going through the emotions, and you find yourself falling out of the course or falling out of the framework. And the thing that these courses and the things that these frameworks don't consider, because they're just solely focused on what your pain point is, they're going to speak directly to your pain point, where they think you might be at in your life, and show you a possible outcome that you can achieve, this ideal version of your life or yourself that you can achieve. But what they don't consider is the amount of resistance that people are coming into those seminars, programs, and courses with. And so that's the issue. Do I even want a cold plunge? What about the resistance I have to it? I can do it one day, maybe 2 days, but then I just quit doing it. And then I start to shame myself. I guess I'm not going to be successful in life because I can't fucking cold plunge. And it gets really bizarre the more we get consumed by all of this self-help hype, to the point where we can find ourselves being a 40-year-old man, and you start eating 2 ounces of pig foreskin each day because it's said to improve your testosterone levels. Do you even need to fucking improve your testosterone levels? Do you have symptoms of low testosterone? Well, fuck, I don't know. I'm just going to eat this pig's foreskin because if I can boost my testosterone, then I'm sure to be a successful entrepreneur. Anyways, I didn't eat pig foreskin, but you get my point. So what do we need to do to kind of free ourselves from this overconsumption of information? And it can be simple. If we just take a moment to set it down, like, make an intention and conscious choice for yourself to not watch a fucking YouTube video for a day, to put the self-help books down for a minute. Don't attend any more webinars or seminars or courses. But just for a day, can you stop to self-reflect and just be with yourself and just live without needing to be this ideal version of what you think you need to be because somebody else told you needed to be it? And take an inventory of your life. And this is where I really respect the profession and guidance that coaching has to offer. And this is why I became a men's coach and a fatherhood coach. It does consider all of the resistance we have inside to making a change. It considers what's blocking us from actually following through and integrating something that we're learning. And one of the tools we use in coaching is what's known as the wheel of life. And it's something we give a potential client or a client of ours, like, okay, here's every aspect of traditional life as we know it. Everything from relationships to finance to self-improvement to spirituality, all of it, right? And so this could be the first step in you ending this toxic cycle of over-consuming self-help content and losing yourself in it. And I'm going to put it up on the screen for you. And to use it as a reference, you'll see that it's a pie chart. And there's all these different areas of life that we could focus our attention to. Out of all of these areas, which one is right for you? Where do you feel the most resistance in your life? Where do you feel most stuck or most desiring a change in? But I want you to come up with this answer yourself. Let that answer be free of influence of any self-help guru you've seen on YouTube or a podcast, etc. What's right for you? The right answer will come if you can just be silent enough to be with yourself and ask yourself the question, where do I feel the most resistance or the most stuck in my life? Where do I desire the most change? And in this chart, I've highlighted an area that is a pretty common area because we all desire healthy relationships. And so if we look in the relationship section of this pie chart in the wheel of life, we'll see intimacy. Is that an issue for you right now? Do you feel really disconnected in intimacy in your current relationship? If so, acknowledge that. If we don't acknowledge where we are, we can't get to where we want to be. It's like putting in GPS coordinates into your GPS. You put in the destination, but you don't put in the information of where you're actually at. You're going to be lost and get off track, and you might not ever actually get to your destination. This is the importance of just being able to sit with yourself and acknowledge where you're at. So, if intimacy is where you feel the most tension in your life, like within your relationship, your job's going okay, that's tolerable, your finances are tolerable and in order, your physical health seems to be okay, and you're comfortable with where you're at in your physical health and body. But this one thing does stand out when you ask yourself that question, where do I feel the most resistance or tension in my life, or what do I desire to change the most? If it's intimacy, then great. We can go and seek how do I overcome my blocks with intimacy with my partner? This is where we can use self-help and self-improvement as a tool and not allow it to become our master where we feel powerless. You know, in Alcoholics Anonymous, they have this passage that says, self-knowledge availed us nothing. And what this essentially means is that we can intellectually know something, and yet that knowledge does not produce a change in the way we behave. The only way to change is by doing taking action or doing something differently, which is also another passage from Alcoholics Anonymous. And so this can become another way that you can ask yourself a question of where are you not taking action in your life? And if that's in financial situations of your life or in your relationship where you're avoiding having a difficult conversation, just focus your time and energy on that. Leave the self-help stuff alone, but acknowledge yourself on where you're at and what it is that you want to change in your life. And then you can use self-help to get you there. Like I said before, if you're struggling with intimacy, find something that is going to serve you in the form of self-improvement. Something that'll help you uncover what your resistance is to intimacy in your relationship, or how to cultivate more intimacy in your relationship so that you can free yourself from the darkness that is the toxic side of self-help. It's such an empowering feeling when you begin to realize again that you are in control of your own life. You are in control of the version of yourself that you want to be. And you're no longer disempowered by all this messaging that's hitting you of this is what you should be to be accepted in this new modern world. And so I wanted to ask you again, so will you take the time to set down the books and to really focus your energy and attention to yourself again? To uncover the area of yourself or your life that you do want to improve. And do you actually need to? It is okay to be okay. It is absolutely okay just to be okay with the way things are right now. You know, it was really hard for me to admit to myself that I was actually judging other people because I felt like I had all the knowledge. Self-help really just masturbated my ego and made me feel superior in a way that was toxic. I could see somebody going through a hard time and I already had the remedy because I had ingested that information just 6 hours ago, so I know what's wrong with you. Like, who the fuck did I become? The toxicity of all this cut me off from my natural human ability to have empathy and compassion for other people, and more importantly, for myself. I was judging myself constantly. I was shaming myself constantly. And today, I am fucking free from that. I have my power back. My power to discern for myself what area of life do I actually want to improve, or even do I need to. I hope you found this video to be helpful and informative. Please let me know down in the comment section below if one, can you relate? If so, how can you relate? And I would love to hear some things if you actually have gotten on the other side of this as well. What did you do to get there? I find that these comments can actually be very supportive to other people who watch the video and read the comments themselves. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode.